Hey guys!
Hey guys! Look what we're doing. We're simulcasting, and so, oh no, our cameraman. This is going to be a little confusing, so you go first.
Hey guys, Leanne here, Healthful Pursuit. We are chatting all things Thanksgiving and holidays today. We just recorded a little bit of a podcast, and we're going to get started here pretty shortly, just talking about how to manage the holidays.
And hey, Keto Reset Group people, look who I have. Oh my God, it's Leanne Vogel. I've been sorry, guys. I've been teasing that we have a special guest all week, and I didn't tell him who it was. And it's Leanne, and I'm super excited. So as you guys surely know, Leanne is the author of the prettiest, most well-organized, best pictures, best charts keto book out there right now, besides ours, of course. But seriously, the best. It's so pretty. It's such good information. So this is Leanne's book, which I've had for a couple months, and I've been making the recipes out of it. They're really good.
Oh, so thanks, Lindsay.
Today we're going to be talking about a very keto Thanksgiving, which is fun because Leanne's Canadian.
Yeah, so I've already done Thanksgiving. It's over and done with. So now I get to celebrate it again.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
So I'm not sure exactly how we're going to structure this, but I just was hoping that we could talk today a little bit about, the holidays are incredibly stressful, especially if you have recently changed to a new way of eating, right? Especially if you are going home for the holidays and are going to be around people who don't eat the same kinds of foods you eat, maybe aren't super cool about the foods you are and are not eating anymore. So we're just going to talk a little bit today about how to manage the holiday season and how to eat and how to do it in the least stressful way possible so that you can both feel good at the end, once you come out the other side, feel like you haven't ruined everything, but also, manage the social aspects of being in the holidays.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Those are all really good points, and a lot of things that people struggle with on a daily basis from, Thanksgiving in the US to probably January 4th. That's kind of like the whole period of struggle. And it starts for Canadians a lot earlier, I'll just say that.
And it goes for Americans until the Super Bowl. So
oh yeah, I guess it would.
So yeah, it's a hard time, and then you have the added part about it's winter and it's cold and
all you want is food.
Right, and you just want to sit down and you're in the house and you're not going to go out as much. And so yeah, the struggle is real, guys. The struggle is real. So what do you do during the holidays? How do you eat?
Well, pretty much keto foods,
right? That
I've just kind of made more holiday themed. Last year when I was writing the keto diet, I had this great idea to also write another book. I don't know what I was thinking, but I called it the Keto Holiday Cookbook, and that was really to help people kind of work their way through the holidays so that they can prepare that food and then take it to holiday parties or host holiday parties and enjoy it. So really my approach is if I'm going to a party, I always bring a dish with me, just so that, everyone brings dishes. That's totally normal to do. And then at least I have one thing. And then it's always that somebody's made some sort of vegetable dish that I can have. I always ask if they have olive oil. That's never a problem. And I kind of just go around that. And then if there are events like parties out and about and, that they're having to be at those parties and their stuff, I usually eat before. I fast through it. It doesn't mean that you have to always eat. I think the main thing is just because you're at a holiday party and you're celebrating the holidays, it doesn't have to be about food. That was the number one thing for me of I can go have a good time and I don't need to eat in order to have a good time.
Right. And I definitely think you don't have to overthink it. Like Leanne said, at almost every event you go to, you are going to find things you can eat, right?
Yes.
And so you don't have to stress about the things you're not going to eat. So that's a big part of it. Your host or hostess hopefully is not going to give you a hard time about the things you're not eating, so long as you continue to be good company and just enjoy the things you can eat.
Totally.
And it doesn't really have to be a huge thing. And the other thing that I would mention is, if you are going to go to a party or you're going to your family's house for Thanksgiving and pumpkin pie is your favorite, I see you have two options. One, you make a keto version of pumpkin pie or pumpkin fat bombs or something, or you make a decision ahead of time. If you are a person who can eat pumpkin pie, like let's say it's not that you have a gluten intolerance that you've recently discovered and can't handle the crust, but that you just choose not to eat pumpkin pie, maybe that day you choose to have a small piece of pumpkin pie and then you move on with your life.
Yeah, enjoy it. Take your little fork, and like take off a piece and put it in your mouth and be like, wow, the taste and the flavor, and like really enjoy it instead of going on autopilot. You've probably done this too, of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to screw up on my diet. I'm just going to go blank-faced, go in there, eat all the pie, and not feel anything. Like, take a moment to enjoy it if you're going to enjoy it.
Right, and bring your own heavy whipping cream, and don't use the canned Cool Whip, right? You make your own heavy whipping cream, and you make it a thing. And you don't come back to Facebook tomorrow and say, you guys, I cheated.
Now I'm going to, like, fast for 4 days or run a marathon to, like, erase the cheating.
Right. First of all, I would just like to see if we can all agree that throughout the holiday season, we're just going to kind of eliminate the word cheat from our diet.
That's a great plan.
We're either going to make choices and we're just going to live with our choices, or we're going to make choices that we don't have to feel bad about later. But we're not going to either go into things with a cheat mentality, right? Like, it's eating a piece of pumpkin pie is not a cheat. It's a choice, right? It's a choice that you've made that may not be in line with the way you've been eating in the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, but you're not cheating, you're choosing.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
I really love that.
I'm a psychologist. I don't know if you heard. But it's a
really
choice.
Good.
And then if it's a choice, you don't have to feel bad about it, right? Because it gives you some agency. Like, I have chosen. Like, when you cheat, there's this shame component, right? And you don't have to have shame about wanting a piece of pie when you're around 20 other people who are enjoying pie. People want pie. It's a thing that happens. But at the same time, we are all capable of choosing not to. So if you know yourself and you know you are going to feel a lot of shame and guilt, and whether I think that you should or not is irrelevant, if you're going to, then just choose not to. And set yourself up for success by bringing your own foods that you can eat instead. But I was going to show you guys, because like I said, Leanne has beautiful cookbooks, that I have made some food out of Leanne's cookbook, and then also
no one's ever done this with me before. This is so cool.
Out of Mark's 21-day transformation recipes from the Keto Reset Diet. So look at all this beautiful food that you can eat. And by the way, I didn't make a turkey. I didn't make a ham. You can eat all the turkey, all the ham. You can wrap your turkey in bacon and then make the turkey. You can have ham bacon, which is like pork. You can do all of these things. And I didn't make a single main dish. And I still made, let's see, this is the green bean casserole from our book, The Keto Reset Diet, which calls for sour cream. But because I knew Leanne was coming and she's not super big on dairy, I just omitted the sour cream and doubled the coconut milk. This is the keto, or the butter biscuits. From Leanne's holiday cookbook. Do you want to tell people how they can find the holiday cookbook?
Yeah, if you just go to healthfulpursuit.com/keto holiday, you can grab that book. It's only $10. It's a digital download, so you can have it in your inbox like in the next 5 minutes and make all of these things.
Yeah, Leanne was super sweet to send it to me earlier in the week, so I made her butter biscuits, which I'm super excited about. And by the way, all egg-free, all dairy-free, everything I'm showing here today. Prosciutto wrapped asparagus, which I know you have a version of this with bacon. This is the prosciutto wraps. And anytime you wrap any vegetable in a salty meat, you're going to be the hit of the party.
Right.
Super easy. And this took literally 3 minutes. This is Leanne's keto stuffing, bread-free, grain-free, egg-free, dairy-free, from the holiday cookbook.
And low FODMAP recommendations in the book too.
Yep. This is mashed. This is her no-tato mash, which is actually, Matt, you want to tell the secret ingredient?
I can't even remember.
It's turnips.
Okay.
But what else can you mash? You can mash cauliflower. You can mash rutabaga. You can mash parsnips. You can mash turnips. And by the way, you can eat a potato if you want to. But if you don't want to eat a potato, there's all sorts of options. Boop, boop, showing our we have a couple cameras going here in case you guys haven't figured this out yet. And then we have a massaged kale salad, which, as my people know, like, kale is my thing. I will be buried in a coffin full of kale. I love kale, so I would never have a meal without kale. This is a kale salad, massage kale salad, like from our book, but with the Primal Kitchen balsamic vinaigrette, which is amazing if you haven't tried it yet. And I get no kickback for saying that. It's just genuinely
I haven't tried this yet. It's so good.
And then I just threw on some roasted pumpkin seeds and then some raspberries. And then these are just little pieces of pumpkin that I just like fried up in coconut oil. And I'm calling them croutons. they're not croutons. We all know they're not croutons. They're just pumpkin. So this is like a pumpkin raspberry massage kale salad. And if you're gonna go to a holiday party and feel like sad that you can't eat this food, then I can't help you, because this food is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, this looks beautiful.
So what do you have tips and tricks and strategies for dealing with family members who are making your life hard in the holidays?
Yeah, so I have a one-liner that I use a lot. And when my family, when I first started keto, a lot of people in my family were pretty worried about it. My uncle had just had a heart attack about 2 months before I started keto. And so when I went to Easter, was it Easter? It was a fall party that we had as a family. And I brought a bunch of fatty things, and I'm talking to my aunt, and she's like, oh my gosh, like our cardiologist says, don't eat this food. Like, don't do this. You're so young. Don't screw up your health. I just said, this is the best I've felt in my entire life, and leave it at that. Mm-hmm. And usually that's enough. But if you really have to like give them another line, you can say, and I hope that you'll respect that. Mm. And that is just like, people can't argue with the fact that you feel good. And that's usually what I use to kind of avoid those sorts of conversations. If you find like a family member is really into it and they're like, why are you eating fat and how does that work? And they're really inquisitive and they want to know and they seem pretty passionate about it. Then I go into a conversation about, this is what I do. This is why I do it. Here's some tips and tools. And they're like, wow, that's really cool. But if you get into a fight with one of your family members and you can feel like they're like, why are you eating like that? Are you ridiculous? And what's wrong with you? Then I just say, this is the best I've ever felt. And yeah, usually if it becomes really bad, I've had this experience, then it's sort of like, we need to talk about something else. I don't feel comfortable having this conversation. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, you're kind of just putting up a wall where your diet is not part of it. But I've heard horrible stories of families that just like even force feed people of like, no, you're not leaving until you eat this. And then I think it's like, you kind of have to figure out your relationships with these people. Like, I mean, do you really want that energy in your life?
Right. Well, that's a bigger question.
I mean, that's a big question.
That's a huge, giant question that I'm sure a lot of people will be facing this holiday season.
Yes.
Are these the people I want to be spending my time with? And we all know that we can't necessarily choose
our family.
But I think your strategy is really good. I mean, I think you say to people, I feel amazing, and I know you want me to feel amazing.
Yes.
Right?
Totally. You want your family to be happy and healthy, and here I am saying, I feel good. Mm-hmm. Like, people can't argue with the way that you feel.
Right. And I mean, I think it's also important to remember that, a lot of times when people are trying to get you to come back to their way of eating, it's because they are feeling fear for you, right? Because you've done something that's completely outside the conventional medical system. Still, for a lot of people, it is running counter to what they're hearing from their doctors and from the mainstream media. And even though obviously the buzz around keto is exploding right now, and so you're probably more likely than ever to find a family member who has at least heard the word if they don't know what it means. When they're trying to get you to stop eating all this fat, it's because they are genuinely probably afraid for your health, right?
Afraid for your health, or also if you show up at Christmas dinner and you've lost insert weight amount there and you start talking about the food you're eating, a lot of people can't comprehend that, and they think, but I've been struggling eating low fat or XYZ and I'm having no success. And so then they try to attack you because they're like, that doesn't make sense, and how dare you lose weight doing something that I haven't thought of. So there's so many pieces to that. Yeah. So I just say, if you can, just avoid it, because it's just better to just not talk about.
Right. Just, I wish you happiness. I know you wish me happiness. Let's go play some Uno.
Yeah, totally.
And then, that's my best strategy as well. And then, you know what? At some point, you may have to decide, if you are doing keto because eating non-keto foods genuinely makes you feel like crap, and, if you're going to eat this grain and you're going to pay for it, you're going to eat this dinner roll and it's going to come back to bite you later, whatever, if you know that you have identified that you have a dairy sensitivity and you cannot eat these scallop potatoes anymore, whatever, then that's like a fight worth having. But sometimes it's just, take a small portion of something, push it around your plate, and just move on with your life. And just understand that, anything dietary is very emotionally fraught for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. And you don't have to solve all your family members' emotional problems now, but just, come at it with compassion for them and hope that they'll do the same for you. And if they won't, get there as soon as possible.
Yeah, I find too, doing some self-care practice before you go to these sorts of events, like it can be really hard. If you have to have your guard up and you're just nervous about it, it can create a lot of yucky feelings. So I always like to just like go for a quick walk or breathe really deeply in out 5 times before you enter in there. And just know that it's more about the holiday, spending time with friends and family than having to worry about all the diet stuff. So just know that it's just one meal, try to enjoy it with family and move on.
And by the same token, I would say don't try to convert people at Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Even if you super believe in what you're doing, and I hope you do. I mean, you can talk about, man, I love wrapping my vegetables in bacon and prosciutto. It's so great. Have you guys tried this yet? And you can try to sell like individual foods if you want, but you're not going to sell people on a whole new way of eating, especially during the holidays. So just let that go right out the window and just, enjoy yourself and just make the best choices for yourself and trust yourself. Trust yourself to know what's best for you. That's a huge part of it.
Totally.
So I think we also have, one more thing I want to bring up,
yes.
which is the alcohol around the holidays.
Alcohol. Okay.
So this is also another really fraught issue. And I know I have seen, I'm sure you've seen in your communities as well, like people are already stressed about
Booze.
All
of the boozing.
All the boozing, and the fact that that's a huge part of social gatherings.
It is.
It is.
Yeah. For somebody, so I quit alcohol many, many years ago. I just started drinking again. So as somebody who stopped drinking for, I think it was over 6 years, that became really easy. I'm just like, I don't drink. And when people ask why, I say, because. And that's really easy. So if you decide that you don't want to drink at all, then you just say, I am not drinking alcohol. And usually people are like, okay, she's not drinking alcohol. I'm just going to leave that. There's probably something there I don't want to know.
Right.
But then if you do want to drink alcohol and you're on a ketogenic diet and you love wine, I really love dry farm wines. They're a subscription product. I've received it a couple of times now that I'm drinking again. I really love their wines, and it comes to your house and you get a bunch of dry wines that are low enough in sugar that you can drink it. And you should remain keto as long as you don't drink like a whole bottle. I don't know. I haven't tested it. But then you could go for more, if you want to do rum or more of the, what do they call it? Cocktails?
Yeah, that's a thing. That's what they call it.
Yeah. Rum, vodka, those sorts of things can be okay if you even mix it with water or just do it on the rocks or have like fizzy water instead.
Yeah. I mean, with all the types of mineral waters there are now, and there are, I don't know what it's like in the Canadian grocery stores yet, but in America, there are like 17 brands if
like
you walk in. LaCroix.
This stuff is so good. I mean, that would go great with vodka.
It does go great with vodka. But even like Trader Joe's has their own brand now, and they have like an amazing one that like tastes like coconut pineapple. So it's like you mix that with a little bit of vodka.
Seriously.
But it's also a great way to fake it. Like if you don't want to drink, then you bring a bunch of mineral water. I do a mix of like any kind of flavor bubbly water, and we call it bubbly water in our house because I have kids. Bubbly water and like a splash of kombucha, like maybe like 1 part kombucha to 4 parts bubbly water. It looks like you're drinking a cocktail. You throw a little lime slice on top, and nobody knows the difference, and everyone goes about their business. And then you have all the good stories the next day that nobody else can remember, and it's fine. So that's another strategy. Again, like self-care, you just fake it. You fake it, and nobody has to know, or you just stick to a couple things. But do know, at least, and I'm sure that you know this as that you found this as well, that once you go keto, your tolerance like plummets. Okay, so if you're going to an office party, this is not the chance to test like how your keto is affecting your alcohol tolerance. Just assume it's like bottom basement, and do
like
not
one drink.
Yeah, one.
Holding it for a couple of hours.
Right. Like if you're around your work people, just be aware that keto does affect this. Oh, and also, guys, I forgot a really important thing that you can also. I made Leanne's, I can't believe I just looked down sauce, Leanne's eggnog pudding, which I'm super excited. I haven't tried it yet. You're supposed to top it with whipped cream, but I ran out of time, so it's just the pudding today.
I just can't believe you made all of this, so it's like, who cares about the whipped cream?
I know, so we're basically having like pre-Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving, just without the turkey. So we're just having a Thanksgiving of sides today after we hang up here, and it's gonna be amazing. So I'm gonna have my husband hand me my computer because we have some Q&As from our people, and we're going to Leanne's going to check the comments on her side, and we're just going to do some rapid fire Q&As from our various communities. So Leanne, what are your plans? For you guys who don't know what Leanne is up to right now, I'm sure like Leanne's people know, but maybe my people don't know. Like, Leanne, tell everyone what you're doing right now. It's quite amazing.
So my husband and I decided in around May time frame that we didn't want to live where we were living anymore, and we just kind of wanted to run with it. So we sold everything, renovated a 40-foot motorhome thing, and we renovated it, and yeah, we're living in it now. We've been living in it for about 3 months, and we're just traveling around, doing our thing, and enjoying it.
That is crazy. Also, I just signed onto my Facebook page and realized our video is sideways. So I'm going to have Jake try to fix this for us in the background. So my video is about to get real shaky for a second here, but we're just going to keep talking. You know, Facebook Live, technology is hard. So what are you going to do for American Thanksgiving now that you're here?
We don't know. We need to come up with a couple of, like, we've never been this far away from home for the holidays. So we were thinking about doing something super fun, like something fun and different. Kevin mentioned maybe we should go bowling or just something.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know, there's families around the area that want to host us for Thanksgiving.
I'm sure that you put that out there. And
Yeah.
You get like 20,000 emails like, we'll host you, Leanne.
Somewhere around Fresno, maybe. No. But yeah, we haven't figured it out yet. I think as long as we're with our little family of our dogs and my husband and we're happy and healthy, just kind of run with it. And see if we can cook a turkey in a convection oven.
I think you can totally
microwave thing.
You totally can.
Yeah.
At least a turkey breast, right?
Yeah.
For sure. And wrap it in bacon and see what happens.
Perfect. Okay.
And I will be going back to my childhood home for Thanksgiving, and we will be having, you know, like a pretty traditional Thanksgiving, and I will be eating turkey, and I will be making, you know, some of this stuff, and I will be eating salad, and I will probably eat some sweet potatoes because I want to, and I will probably not be eating the Pillsbury crescent rolls, and it will be, I think, pretty easy because first of all, my family's cool and they're not going to give me a hard time, and secondly, you can really fill up on kale salad. It turns out.
Yeah, and gravy. Do you eat the gravy? Yeah, gravy.
I eat the gravy.
What else do you need?
No, and then my favorite thing to do at Thanksgiving is then while everyone else is kind of like sitting on the couch, I go and I like savage the turkey and pull all the meat off it.
Like picking of the bones. I do that too.
And I like, this is like one of the most primal things I do, right? And then I throw all the bones in a slow cooker with all the vegetable scraps and leftover veggies, and then I stick it on slow cook for 24 hours, and then I have the most amazing bone broth ever. So by the way, if you guys are getting into the bone broth thing, turkey carcass is like the A+ #1 source of bone broth for sure.
It's good.
It's so good. Okay, let's take a question from mine. So we kind of mentioned this, but let's just reinforce this. So this is one of our people in our Keto Reset diet group saying they know they're going to eat the pie. They're making the choice. Okay, make the choice. That's the best thing about being a grown-up. I tell my kids all the time, like, I'm a grown-up, I get to make choices.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's pretty cool. What should I do to offset the pie? Should I fast the next day? Should I take a hike? What should I do?
Nothing.
I agree. I actually totally agree. I mean, you can definitely take a walk or take a hike if you want to.
Yeah, if you feel like hiking, then go for a hike. If you feel like fasting and you're not hungry, what should happen is if you have that pie and you've been eating keto for a while, when you have that pie, what's happening is you're actually resetting your leptin. So the next morning, you'll probably wake up from that pie and not be hungry. So you're naturally likely going to fast through to the afternoon until you're hungry, probably around 3 o'clock. Maybe you go for a walk, maybe you don't. Like, just, I think #1 is if you're going to have the pie, enjoy the pie.
Right. And
all the hearts for that. Yes.
And don't punish. It's not, for sure, definitely don't think of it as like atoning for pie or atoning for pie. Like, that's not a thing. If you want to, if you're feeling unhealthy the next day and you're feeling kind of like sluggish and you think going out and hiking would be great, by all means, it's better to go for a hike than probably to participate in the Black Friday madness. Like, that's probably both a physically and mentally healthier thing to be doing on Friday. But don't pre-plan the way that you're going to fix your pie situation. There's nothing to fix. It's just a thing you did, and nothing got broken with one piece of pie.
Oh, you might want to take activated charcoal with the pie if you have like a lot of food sensitivities or whatever, and you're just not sure if it's going to make you gassy or whatever. I like to do that if I know I'm not eating the highest quality food, just taking activated charcoal with it.
I've never tried that.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh, but in fairness, I should say, like, I have a pretty iron stomach. So.
Oh, see, I don't. I do not.
Activated charcoal. Okay, so here, we're putting it in the show notes. I will write that down for you guys who are like, what's activated charcoal? If Michael or someone, or I will come back later and we'll link to activated charcoal in the comments so you guys can see what Leanne meant by that. Okay, this is just a general keto question, but like, what are some gut-friendly methods? You just mentioned one, so what are some other ones? What are some gut-friendly methods to deal with constipation or slow digestion or general like tummy ailments when you do choose to eat sad type holiday foods?
Yeah, activated charcoal. I always bump up my probiotics. If you can do the probiotic liquids, they're not kefir. What are they called? I just found them at the store.
The water greens?
I don't even know. It's an American thing.
Oh, like Kavita, like those drinks?
It can be a Kavita. You can definitely do a water kefir, although I found that Kavita was bought by, was it Pepsi or Coca-Cola? One of them. And they started adding a bunch of sugar to their stuff, so definitely check the labels on the Kavita. But something like that for after the dinner, if your tummy's just not feeling well.
Kombucha?
Or, yeah, kombucha. Yeah. Although kombucha is high in oxalates, so if you have gut issues.
Oh, you guys, we just have to go eat grass. There's nothing we can only eat.
Grass probably
has oxalates because all right, we can only eat bacon. The bacon and butter version of keto is sounding better. Although the butter, ghee, we'll have the ghee. We'll ghee it.
But
it's a nightmare.
So kombucha or water kefir or any sort of like really probiotic rich foods before and after can be helpful for the gut. Activated charcoal, taking probiotics, even taking apple cider vinegar. Maybe add apple cider vinegar to that mineral water that you're drinking and maybe a touch of stevia. It's actually quite delicious, and you could drink that throughout the holidays to just keep things going. Those are some of the ways that I do the digestive thing.
I do apple cider vinegar in my tea, and it's almost like drinking hot cider. And I don't even sweeten it. So like apple cider vinegar, a little squeeze of lemon in any kind of tea, like any kind of black tea or green tea is really, really good. And also throwing in there like kombucha, again, you can water it down, and kefir, they're both super easy to make at home. So, you know, like you need one more thing on your plate this holiday season, you could just totally start making your own kefir. I make my own kefir. I make my own kombucha.
Oh, it's hardcore.
I'm very hardcore. I don't know if you know this about me, Leanne, but I'm like the most hardcore.
It's amazing.
Between that and the kale, it's like, well, couldn't be healthier.
And you have children.
And my children eat kale, and they drink kefir. It's so weird. We're the weirdest family in Folsom. Okay. This is just a general question. And I think it's one that I'd like to think about for during the holiday season is like, how do you evaluate your success on your keto journey? So if you're kind of starting out, if you're partway in and now you're starting to look towards the holidays and maybe starting to think about like the new year, new you thing.
Yeah. Like
how do you know when you're doing it? Right.
Like when you're doing it right, or you're feeling good and you're thinking, how can I adjust stuff?
Yeah. And like Leanne and I were talking about this before we got on the air because she's been gracious enough to tape an episode of the Primal Blueprint podcast with me. But like, how do you know for people who are on the keto journey, like how do you know you're making the best choices for yourself?
I think it really depends on the person and what their goals are. Like for me, I started keto because I wanted to get my period back. And so when I got my period back, it was like, awesome. But before that, I was testing my hormones and seeing where those were. And now my real focus right now is gut health. So when I know that I'm doing it right is, you know, when my skin is a little bit clearer, or perhaps I eat a food that I used to react to that I don't anymore. So I think it depends on your goals. If you just focus on weight loss, that can be a little bit challenging. If you are just focused on weight loss and that's your number one thing, I would say maybe weigh yourself once a month. And also you might want to look at more of a body composition test instead of just weight, because your body composition is going to change quite a lot throughout your experience. And yeah, you can test ketones if you want, but that's maybe not always the best sign of whether or not you're doing things right or where you want to go with your diet.
Yeah, and I think just during the holiday season, you just give yourself a little bit of grace on this one, and you don't expect that you're going to make these maybe massive life changes during the holiday season, right? So if we could go through the holiday season and focus on making, you know, like truly baby steps, if that's where we're at, right? Or just like making like a swap a day, or like identifying the 3 things that you think are the biggest barriers to you feeling really good right now. Like, it doesn't have to be on top of the holiday season. And, you know, I don't know, like with my kids, like this is always a crazy time of year with like things going on in the classroom and parties, and we had a dance performance this week, and then soccer season just wrapped up, and like, you don't have to be 100% on every aspect of all your games every second. Yeah. So I think that a big part of it, in terms of knowing if you're doing it right, is just saying like, do I feel good today? Do I feel good about the choices I'm making? Do I feel a little bit better today than I did this day last week? Like, maybe not even yesterday, right? But like last month, right? For sure last year. I mean, think about, you're going into the holidays this year. Think about how you felt at the holidays last year. Like, were you excited about seeing your family? You know, were you feeling good? Were you feeling energetic? Were you super worn down, like trying to get all the holiday stuff done? If this year maybe you have 40% more energy than you had last year, that's a huge improvement, you know? Like, maybe you're not at 100% of your goal yet, but if you're making these changes, I think that this is a time of year to really just think about being graceful with yourself and just doing like something every day that's like a step in the positive direction, and not thinking like where I should be a year from now or where I could be 6 months from now, but like, just what am I doing today to take care of myself? And then things start to fall into place.
Reflection. And if you eat with the seasons, or you believe in the seasonal changes of energy and food, the winter is really that time of reflection and planning for the year ahead, but also honoring where you came from. And so really honoring in that energy of, you know, when it's cold outside, you don't really feel like going out and doing activities and all those things. So it's like reflecting on where you've been, where you're going, where you are right now, and just, honoring day by day.
Right. The last thing that you need on top of all the stress of the holidays is judging yourself harshly. Oh, it's the worst. So, I think that I would like to eat.
Yeah, totally. We did have some questions. What is mineral water?
Oh, just any
example coming.
Here we go. Just any just any of these types of like waters that are unflavored, fizzy, or not unflavored, unsweetened, flavored but unsweetened. It's like, this is the Whole Foods brand. These are both LaCroix. Like I said, New York Seltzer has a brand that's really good. Aquafina has their own brand now. Trader Joe's brand I really like, but it comes in plastic, which isn't my favorite, but that's a whole nother level.
A whole other conversation.
And then like Perrier, San Pellegrino, any of those.
And the other question, which?
No.
Okay. Is in the coconut probiotics is in small single-serving containers. Yeah, you could. Or there's a brand of yogurt, Koyo.
Yeah.
Oh, that stuff
is good. It's really good.
That stuff is really good. Or the one in the flamingo one.
I don't know that one.
It's in California.
I'm in California.
There's a flamingo one. It's like heavy probiotic. Like, you can only have a spoonful and it'll crush you. There was one other question. Oh, where are the butter biscuits? Where can I get that recipe? So I'll include a link down below. You can go to healthfulpursuit.com/keto holiday to get a keto holiday cookbook. Good for Thanksgiving or Christmas or.
These what you were thinking of? Yeah. So these are the
gut
kimchi
shots.
the live gut shots. That supposedly, that's basically like sauerkraut juice is all it is. Yeah. And it's quite salty. I thought it was going to be, the first one I had was like tropical. I'm like, oh, this is going to be sweet. No, it was not sweet. It was a shock. Shocking.
Pickle juice too. Like, if you drink, if you eat Bubby's pickles, you can literally just drink that juice. Yeah, that's another good digestive tip for the holidays.
I've been super digging on this wild brine beet.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And so it's in juice. I'll just like take a shot of the juice out of my sauerkraut.
Yeah.
And just whenever I'm feeling like I could use a probiotic, just drink a shot of sauerkraut.
Don't throw that juice out.
Oh God, no, never.
Make salad dressings with it, drink it, put it in with mineral water. It's good with mineral water. So there you have it.
All the holidays. Good? I like it.
Really? Okay. But maybe I'm hardcore that way.
She's super hardcore, you guys. All right. Did you have any other questions from you?
Nope, that was all, I think. Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to go have our Thanksgiving. And we really appreciate you guys taking the time to spend your, Saturday with us. Time loses all meaning when you're on the road, huh?
Yeah, I have no idea what day it is ever.
It's Saturday. All right. So bye to my Keto Reset group. Nice to meet you guys over in Leanne's group. As always, I super appreciate you guys.